Hey folks, today I'm going to do a review of a gun that I just picked up Friday. And I took it out Friday, put a few rounds through it just to get a feel for it. And I took it out today, and or I'm going to take it out today. And I'm going to put it through its paces, run a couple of hundred rounds through it, and tell you what I think of it. The gun that I picked up was the Shadow Systems MR920. It's the Combat. It's not the Elite model. On the Combat, you don't have windows cut right here, and you don't have serrations on top. That's pretty much the difference. Now, this comp did not come on the gun. This barrel and comp did not come on the gun. What came on the gun was a spiral fluted barrel, which is actually a pretty nice barrel, but I wanted to run a comp on it, and I'll tell you why here in just a minute. But let's start from the bottom and work our way up. On the MR920, you have a magazine well. It is removable, so you can remove it or you can run it on there. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. My hands or my fingers aren't long, but my hand is real fat. So if you look, my hand sticks down below the magazine well, and that's with my hand pushed all the way up. You can see how my finger is kind of pushed down. Now, if I just grab it loosely and don't get a great grip, then it really sticks down below that mag well. So I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. Maybe I will, maybe I won't notice anything at all, but that's just an initial observation. The next thing that you'll notice when you pick the gun up initially is the feel of the gun itself. Now let's get this out of the way. You don't have to have a gun that feels good in order to be able to shoot good with it. But if the gun does feel good, then that's a plus, right? Regular Glocks don't feel good in my hand. They don't fit good to my hand, but I can shoot them pretty well. This gun feels better than a regular Glock. Moving on around the back straps. You can change these back straps out. I've got the one that simulates roughly a 1911 grip angle. You can have one that has a little bit of a hump down here to simulate the Glock grip angle. And there's another one they say that simulates a Smith & Wesson M&P grip angle. But the M&P, when it came out, their big thing was we have an 18-degree grip angle just like a 1911. So I don't know why you would want it to simulate an M&P grip angle, because that simulates a Glock grip angle or a 1911 grip angle. It feels more like a CZ in my hand when I grab it with that grip on it. Next, you've got an extended beaver tail, which is nice for people that have real fat hands. It keeps you from getting slide bite. I'm going to get to the one negative I have on the gun, but I'm going to skip over it. Well, actually two negatives, but I'm going to skip over them first. Then you have the slide. The slide has some nice millwork in it. It looks real good. It is nitride coated or PVD, whatever they want to call it today, but it has a good durable finish on the slide. Next, it comes with Ameriglow. They're not suppressor height, but they're not as short as regular height sights, but they are Ameriglow sights. It has a luminescent green dot in the front with tritium inserts, and there's a blacked out serrated rear. Then the big deal with this gun is the universal optics cut. With this universal optics cut, you don't have to run plates. You can mount almost any red dot on the gun without having to use plates. They use spacers either in the rear or in the front to create tension. And then you have the holes in there that you can secure it down with. It comes with 3 different lengths of screws, and the screws are deep. They go down to about right here. So I don't think there's going to be any chance of those screws breaking. All right, they are deep in the slide, and they had to redesign one of the things inside to make it work. And I'm not going to touch on that. It's the extractor plunger spring that usually comes out in the back. Well, they had to redesign it so it stops up here. But that's just a technical thing. That's the one deviation they made from a Glock. This one is built on a Gen 4 platform, which I like. It gives you a thinner back strap back here. It also gives you the Gen 4, Gen 5 magazine release. It's interchangeable. I do like that. This is the one thing that I don't think I'm going to like about the gun. It might not bother me, but then again, it might. It's extended. It's slightly extended. I don't even know if you can see it, but it is slightly extended. Normally, with extended magazine releases on any gun, I have problems when I grip the gun that the meat of my hand, because I use the meaty portion of my hand here to really dig into the grip. Usually under recoil, if I have an extended slides or magazine release, I will activate that magazine release and it'll fall out. Now, if you go look it up, I'm not the only one that has that problem. So if it happens to me today, it happens. There's been several people on YouTube that have complained about the extended magazine release. But we'll just have to see if it affects me or not. Don't know if it will. Hope it doesn't, and we'll just see. Now, the next thing, and it's the only real big gripe that I have with the gun, is the trigger. There is one thing about the trigger that is horrible, and there's another thing about the trigger that is fantastic. Let's get to the horrible part of the trigger. First, it is unloaded, no mag in the mag well. When you first pull the trigger, you pull it and you hit that nice firm wall. That's good, and it is a firm wall. I like that. Now, I'm not complaining about the weight of the trigger. I want you to watch the trigger move as I pull it. Watch how much movement is in that trigger. That's a lot of movement. I don't know if it came across on camera or not. I'm going to do it one more time. Wall. Look how much movement there is in the trigger before it actually breaks. That's a lot. Now, Gen 4 Glocks, in my opinion, never had the best Glock trigger. The Gen 5 is the best. The Gen 3, 2, and 1, they were all about equal. The Gen 4 always had a lot of mush in the trigger. But this, in my opinion, I'm at the wall. That's a lot of trigger movement or creep until it breaks. That's bad, and I can tell you that's probably, I'm really going to have to concentrate on my trigger controller. It's going to affect my accuracy. There's two schools of thought on the trigger. Some people that I listen to say they love the trigger. It's amazing. It's one of the best triggers they've ever felt. Other people are in the boat that I'm in that said it's a mediocre at best trigger. I will say at best, and I'm giving it a little leeway here, it's mediocre. I don't know if y'all watch Honest Outlaw. If you don't, you should. He's a cool dude. I really like him. He's just a regular guy that likes to shoot, and he is able to articulate and get across what he's wanting to in a way for just about everybody to understand. But he's in the boat that I am. He didn't like the trigger. I don't like the trigger. The trigger break. Now, there is one part of the trigger that I do like. Watch how short this reset is. See how short that is? Now, it's not Walther PPQ or PDP short, but it is much shorter than a factory Glock trigger. The reset on this trigger is really short. Here, we're going to do it again. That's really short. But once you reset it, watch all that trigger movement before it breaks again. So we're going to have to take this out and shoot it and kind of see whether the trigger is a hindrance or not. Might not notice it, then again I might. Now I have heard some people say after 200 to 500 rounds the trigger smooths out. It is very gritty, so I can see where it will have a little time, the surfaces to mate together and polish together and smooth themselves out. But I don't think the mush or the movement in the trigger is going to work itself out. But I could be wrong. We'll see. So now I did put this Mayhem Syndicate barrel and comp on here. When I shot it Friday, it was real sharp. It had a real sharp recoil impulse. Now the muzzle didn't rise a lot, but the recoil impulse was real sharp, sharper than a Glock 19. So I thought, I'm gonna take it out today, and when I run a couple of hundred rounds through it, I'm gonna run it through with this comp on there. Now the Mayhem Syndicate comp, they've changed names. I think a company bought Mayhem Syndicate out. I can't remember what the new name of it is. You could put a comment down there if y'all know what the name of the new company is. I went to their website the other night thinking about buying one specifically for this gun, but they've changed their name. But anyway, it's not a particularly effective comp. It does work. It doesn't work as good as like a Parker Mountain, a PMM, or a KKM, or any of those, or my ported Glocks. It doesn't work that well, but it does work well enough to take the edge off, if you know what I mean. And it does. It takes the edge off. Didn't have any problems with sharpness of recoil while shooting it today. It took the edge off, and it feels good. But let's take this thing out to the range, see how it performs, and I'll give you final thoughts. All right, I'm gonna start out slow with the build drill. Just kind of slow, just to get used to the gun and see how it reacts. 6 yards, by the way. All right, I'm about, I don't know, 8 yards from the target. So that time wasn't great. It was 2.37. So we'll start speeding up a little bit now and see how I can, just small increments, not trying to go all out, just trying to get a feel for the gun and see what it's like. And the target fell. All right, that last one was a 2.28. Not a great draw. Trying to get used to coming out of the holster and finding this red dot again. But see how this one goes. And it fell again. That was a little better, 2.17. All right. See if I can speed it up just a little bit. Get it down close to 2. Didn't fall that time. Let's see what our time was. 2.07. Not terrible. I could go faster, but just trying to get warmed up to this gun. All right, y'all can kind of see my target sitting over here. I got a 6-inch popper and then my 6x12-inch silhouette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds. It's kind of like the 1 to 5 drill, but I'm only doing it on 2 pieces of steel. So we'll see how this one goes. That was fun. 5.15 seconds with a slow draw. I got all screwed up, didn't even hit my target half the time. Let's do that again. Again, hang on a second. Minuteman munitions again. All right, this isn't really a review of the optic, but my Hollow Sun 507C, is it a 507C? Yeah, I think. I've had it a couple of years. It's crapped the bed. Something's wrong with it. The optic keeps coming on and going off, coming on and going off, so I just turned it off, and I'll send it back to Holosun and see what they. Not bad. Don't know how many I hit. Obviously, I hit some. Let's try it one more time. Here we go. Small, large, small, large. I'm going to alternate back and forth. I like this gun. Hey folks, back again. I'm going to give you my final thoughts on the MR920. If you can see, it's got a different optic on it. My Holosun here crapped a bed and it's still not working. Don't know what happened to it. I guess it was about halfway through my range session. This isn't a review on Holosun, but it came up, so I'll go ahead and share it. About halfway through the range session, the thing crapped the bed. It started flickering on and off. With every shot, it would come on, and then the next shot, it would go off. Don't really know what happened to it. I tried to adjust it, and it just started doing crazy things. So I would say it's probably something to do with the electronics, but who knows? Who knows? I changed the battery. I know it's not the battery. I changed the battery in it for a fresh Duracell battery last night before I took it out today, and I know it's not the battery. So I'll be sending it back to Holosun. I've had it for a year or two, so I'm gonna send it back, see what they say, and maybe they can sort it out. This isn't a bash on Holosun. I've got a ton of Holosun sights, and I probably got 10 of them. Between pistol and rifles, I probably got 10 Holosun sights. This is the only one that's ever messed up on me. So, and this is an early Holosun 507. So, you know, they got the version 2 out now. Maybe they corrected something with the version 2, I don't know. But this is one of the original ones, if you can see the small buttons on it. So, we'll send this back. We'll get it squared away. And whenever it comes back, I'll let you know what Holosun said. But I have changed over to my RMR. I've got an RMR mounted on this now. Let me give you my thoughts on the gun. First thought on the gun. The grip feels really good. I didn't have a problem with the mag well at all. I thought I might have some problems with the mag well, the way my hand rests and everything. That was unfounded. No problems at all. It actually, I never even noticed it. I could take it or leave it. The stippling on the gun. I would like, because you see there's smooth areas here, I would like to have stippling all the way around it. No smooth areas at all. I would also like to have this come up a little higher in the back, and I would like to have a little stippling under the front cut, because where you put your hand and marry your grip up there, it makes a difference if you have some texturing up under there. So, but overall, it was quite adequate. One thing that I could take or leave are these little accelerator cuts on here. It doesn't bother me one way or another, whether I have it or whether I don't. I don't even really pay attention to them when I'm shooting. So I know Agency Arms, they have them on their guns, and when they started doing that, then everybody started putting it on theirs. If you use them, I'm sure they work really good. I don't really use them, even though I come far forward. My hand never presses down on that little ledge, so I press in, I don't press down, so I don't really notice the accelerator cuts at all. The sights, fantastic, love them, just like every other set of Ameriglow sights that I have. They work great. Sighted in straight from the factory, didn't have any problems with that. The Beaver tail, I don't have big meaty paws. I do have wide hands, fat hands, but they're not big enough to where it causes a problem. So the Beaver tail, I could take it or leave it. Doesn't really matter to me. The optics cut, held solid. Didn't have any reason why I thought it might not hold solid. It held solid and no problems there. The trigger, I said before the video that the trigger was horrible, and the trigger is still horrible. It has smoothed up some, but if you'll look, there's the wall. Look at all that movement till it breaks. When I first started shooting, I was like, golly, what's going on with this gun? Thought maybe this Mayhem Syndicate barrel wasn't mating up good with the slide, but that wasn't it at all. I had to slow down, concentrate on my fundamentals, and this trigger just made it really hard. See, nice firm wall. And then creep, 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 break. That's a lot of creep in a trigger. A lot. Now, I will say, just as bad as that creep is, the reset is still phenomenal. I love the reset, but even when you're back here at this wall, creep, 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 break. So it takes a little bit of the creep out, but not all of it. It's still got a lot of creep in it. I will say it's smoothed in some. Some of the grittiness is gone. And I'm debating on whether to do a trigger job on it or not. I might. You never know. But I'm not going to replace the trigger. I'll probably just go in and do a trigger job that I would normally do on anybody else's Glock, just using factory parts. But it's a serviceable trigger, but it's not great at all. At best, it's marginal. The reset's amazing. The break is really bad, but you can always fix that. The one thing that I was worried about with this gun, and it proved to be true, was the extended magazine release. It protrudes a little bit from the side. There were 2 occasions where under rapid fire I was bearing down and I ejected the magazine. That's an easy fix for me, really. It's an easy fix for anybody. Just buy a Gen 4 magazine release and put it in there. I have looked on the internet, and there have been some people that have complained about magazines dropping out, probably due to the extended magazine release. If you have that thumbs forward grip and you really grip the meat of your hand, the palm, into the gun, there's a high likelihood you're going to depress that magazine release enough where it's going to drop the magazine. That's not a deal breaker, because a magazine release is what, $3 or $4? It's not much at all. And I mean, Glock Store has them in stock. I'll probably order one and be good to go. One thing I did notice, and I don't know why it's doing it, but after I got through shooting, I noticed the dust cover started, it was up like most Glocks. Now it started to sag a little bit. Never noticed that. It wasn't like that before. You can really see it on that side. There you go. You can really see it on that side. It's almost like once the gun heated up, maybe it just fell into its natural shape. I don't know, but it was curved up a little bit, and now it's actually curved down just a little bit. I mean, just a little bit. But it's nothing that really concerns me right now. I didn't shoot it with a light on it. Will keep this O-light on there. Woo, that thing's bright, ain't it? For those of y'all that don't like O-lights, maybe you just haven't run them hard enough yet, because these things last. Golly, this light right here, I can't tell you how many thousands of rounds I've shot a gun with this light connected to it, and the thing still works. Every time I turn it on, it comes on. This thing is, for the money, dude, you can't beat it. But anyway, enough about the O-light. The gun overall, I really like it. It is an improvement over a Glock. A Glock Gen 4 is going to cost you about $550 nowadays. A 19, well, let's rephrase that. Nowadays, a Glock 19 is going to cost you about $600 bucks. I paid $734 for this gun. $734. Now, that was a heck of a deal. I found it online on Gunbroker. Nobody bid on it, so I waited until the last hour, and nobody had still bid on it. So I thought, I'm gonna bid the minimum amount and see if I win it. This isn't the standard combat model. The standard combat model comes with a regular barrel and no sight cut. This one had the upgraded sight cut and the extended barrel, the threaded barrel on it. So in most shops, that's going for $850 to $900. I got it for $734. $734. So for $134 over the cost of a regular Glock 19, not the MOS, I got the sight cut, I got night sights, and I got a threaded barrel. That's not bad, because if you were to do that on your own, you would spend more than $134. So if you can find one out there for $750, maybe even $800, I'd say snatch it up. It's a good deal. I wouldn't go paying $1,000 for this gun. No way. There's no way I'd pay $1,000 for it. It's a Glock. It's a Glock. And I like Glocks. I don't have a problem with factory stock Glocks. This one is an enhanced version of a Gen 4 Glock, and I do like it a lot, but I wouldn't pay $1,000 for it. No way. I would go out and buy me a decent 1911 before I bought a $1,000 Glock. But and that goes for Agency Arms too. I'm not paying what Agency Arms wants for their guns. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So some people call this a Gucci Glock. I guess it is, but I didn't pay no Gucci price for it. And if you're gonna pay a Gucci price for it, more power to you. But this is a Gen 4 Glock. It performs like a Gen 4 Glock. It feels a little bit better. It's got better sights, and it's got a really good sight cut. Other than that, you got a Gen 4 Glock. So if you find a good deal on one, pick it up, run it, see if you like it. But don't pay $1,000 for it. It's not worth it. So thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all have a good one.